All right, so this is a junior mining investment conference. We have 240 companies out on the show floor covering gold, silver, copper, nickel, uranium, lithium. The list goes on and on. What I want to hear from you gentlemen this evening is, are you allocating capital to the sector? If not, what are you waiting for, or why not? And if you are, where is that cash going? And Rick, I'll start where we left off. I'll start with you.
I mean, the answer is yes. My hallmark is that I love to be hated. I've justified a lot of hate in my life, I guess, but the fact that the extractive industry sector, at least mining, is held in such poor regard among generalist investors, I find to be very healthy. What's changed for me for the better in terms of this conference is that I have thought that the values in the smallest end of the market, the penny dreadfuls, have been too high to justify investment relative to the beta generators. That's changed in the last 2 months. So I'm delighted to say I've been able to return to my roots and begin to speculate in sub-100 million and even sub-$10 million speculations. So for me personally, it really is risk on, because the competition is all risk off.
Right. Right, which is your style. So the mini micro cap, sub $10 million, are you looking at specific metals, Rick, or what's catching your attention right now?
Again, I like stuff that's hated. So right. Up on this stage a couple of years ago, I sort of begged your audience to buy their uranium stocks.
Yeah.
They aren't hated anymore, so I'm not able to allocate there. Platinum and palladium have disappointed investors, so I'm attracted to that because they hate it. Nickel has disappointed investors, so I'm attracted to that because people hate it. Mm-hmm. But interestingly, even gold is held in fairly low regard, at least in the exploration phase. And after silver disappointed so many people in 2021, there's nobody that hates something like a jilted lover. And the silver bugs got punished so badly in 2021, as though silver was a 4-letter word. Right. So I like it too.
Quick break here, guys. Today's episode is brought to you by Copernico Metals. Now, regular viewers of my channel will be familiar with the entrepreneur behind Copernico. His name is Ivan Bebek. Now, although a young man in this business, Ivan's already created tremendous value for his shareholders in the past, namely with Caden Resources, which he sold to Agnico Eagle, and Keegan Resources, which became a mine now owned by Galiano Gold. Now, Ivan has surrounded himself with expertise from BHP, Newmont, and VRIC on his board at Copernico Metals. Check out copernicometals.com. Now back to the interview. Willem, over to you. You mentioned you're allocating capital, so I'm curious where it's going.
We are confronted with markets which are trending lower and lower, and we've been doing some research, who's doing the selling, and quite a number of our peers, they do have redemptions, so they need to sell. They don't want to sell, they need to sell. And when I'm good informed, even Rick closed down his exploration fund with Sprott. So we had some real selling pressure in some good names. It's our strategy to focus on the top 100 discoveries worldwide, metal agnostic. And by focusing on the best quality projects, there's always some liquidity there. And we even had 6 buyouts in our portfolio. So the major companies, they need to replenish their reserves. So there's still some M&A. And when you look at the whole space, I think we're very close, or we've already reached the bottom. I see a lot of bottoming patterns also in the charts. And if you study the markets from a supply and demand perspective, from a fundamental perspective, there's so many shortages arriving, and uranium is a great example where you have some kind of a short squeeze, and this could develop well into copper or silver or other metals. So great bargains to be found.
Okay, Willem, thank you very much. Adrian, same question. Are you allocating cash, and if so, where's it going?
Yeah, excuse me, certainly. I can't help it. Can't help myself. But I take a slightly different approach, I must say, than the others. Right now, We're really emphasizing the senior miners, the senior royalty companies, emphasizing them. And the reason is really quite simple, and that is because when the gold stocks start to move, it'll be the big cap stocks that move first. Not only do they move first, but they're also more certain to move. By that I mean is if I pick, I'll just name Agnico, Barrick, Franco, Wheaton, you buy those 4 stocks, I can virtually guarantee you, as close to the SEC allows me to guarantee anything, but I can virtually guarantee you that if gold goes to 2,500, those 4 stocks will all have moved up. If you buy Rick's favorites, Junior, Amalgamated Moose Pasture, I think, or mine, Consolidated Ajax, you could buy half a dozen of those, and they may or may not move up. And so the seniors are the first to move and the more certain to move. So at this stage, when we're on the cusp of a new bull market in gold stocks, I'm emphasizing those. One last thing, if I should say, that's not to say that we're not buying juniors. Some of the juniors are just incredibly, incredibly cheap. But for me, I want to focus on juniors that either have cash flow, and there are some, or have strong balance sheets, or at the absolute minimum have access to cash.
Okay, thank you very much, Adrian.